Thank you for tuning in to our second Virtual Fam of the Week, this time brought to you by Luxury Lodges of Australia. In this session, Penny Rafferty is going to be showing you around Silky Oaks Lodges in the Daintree Rainforest, which has just completed an extensive refurbishment. She's going to be speaking to some of the employees on the ground there and exploring the resort to find out exactly what this luxury lodge has to offer your clients. Following the tour, we'll be moving into a Q&A where you can put your own questions to Penny. So thank you again for joining, and I hope you enjoy the session. Over to Penny.
Hi and welcome. I'm Penny Rafferty, the Executive Officer of Luxury Lodges of Australia. And here we are for an update on our hottest new news item so far for the year. The reopening of Silky Oaks Lodge in the magnificent UNESCO World Heritage listed Daintree, the oldest refugial rainforest in the world, some 180 million years old. But before we start, I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land we are on today. This is Guugilanji country. In the Daintree, the traditional owners are the Eastern Guugilanji Aboriginal people. In sharing elements of their history, heritage and culture, we acknowledge the Guugilanji people and their connections to land and sea. We pay our respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, elders, past, present and emerging. Silky Oaks Lodge is one of 19 members of Luxury Lodges of Australia, a collection of independently owned and operated lodges and camps located in diverse and awe-inspiring regions across Australia. It's owned by Bailey Lodges, founded by James and Hayley Bailey, along with their sister properties Longitude 131, Capella Lodge, The Louise and Southern Ocean Lodge. This is a very special moment for both Silky Oaks Lodge and James Bailey, whose first gig as a general manager was right here, back in the 90s. Bailey Lodges purchased Silky Oaks Lodge in 2019 and over the past 3 years have injected the signature Bailey Lodges attention to detail and organic, understated style of luxury into a really significant redefining of the lodge. We coined the term bailification some years ago, and I hope to show you what that means as we take a walk through the lodge. So, hot off a $20 million investment, what has changed? Everyone wants to know. Let's take a look. We're about to enter the main lodge. This is where guests come to dine, have a drink at the bar, relax in the Kabiri lounge, mingle with other guests to share stories of the adventures of that day. The sound of the Mossman River flowing past is ever present and really soothing. The building is open to the rainforest, inviting in the sounds and that very seductive sense of connection to the tropics. Come and meet Sonia Bowden, today's General Manager. Sonia, thank you for having us here today. It's amazing. Can you take us through what has changed?
Yeah, thanks, Penny. So we've undertaken a complete architectural redesign, and over a 21-month build, the lodge has re-emerged from hibernation. So we've now got a fresh, contemporary look. The main feature here is the soaring ceilings and our open roofline, and the whole idea of that is designed to welcome in the sights and sounds of the rainforest. So raising the roof's given us a platform, and we can showcase the rainforest from the moment that our guests are welcomed to the lodge. It also provides for far greater airflow and a great comfort on a warm summer's day. An extension of the bar area, it delivers greater opportunity for our guests to relax in the main lodge area, a refreshing cocktail or a local Queensland beer. Or grab your book and have some time out on the jungle perch or in the air-conditioned Kabiri lounge.
And if you keep your eyes peeled, you may see any number of rainforest inhabitants, from the electric blue Ulysses butterflies, the beautifully camouflaged Boyd's forest dragons, azure kingfishers, echidnas, cassowaries, and an incredible diversity of birds and marsupials, including pademelons and bandicoots. Such an incredible transformation of this lodge building. Let's take a look at what's being done in the guest suites.
Great, let's go, Penny.
There are 6 room types at Silky Oaks Lodge. Here we are in a river house. You can see the use of design elements reflected across the lodge. New Guinea rosewood, bespoke fabrics selected for each room type and guest space feature specific colour schemes to bring the natural elements from the outside in. These river houses include an indoor-outdoor bathing space with a bath and rain shower and the signature Silky Oaks hammock. Here we are in one of the 2 beautiful Billabong Suites. As you can see, they are quite a bit bigger. In addition to the indoor-outdoor bathing space we saw in the River House, these suites have an extended deck with a custom-made semicircular couch, fire pit and a signature hammock. There is also an extended living space with a day bed. Together, these provide the optimum balance of interior and exterior space to just simply unwind. The beautiful Pietra Bianca baths that you've seen in both these suite types are made of composite cast stone engineered in Australia. Blissful to soak an afternoon away listening to the sounds of the river below. But wait, there is still more.
Welcome to the Daintree Pavilion. Let's go and take a look inside.
So for some serious wow factor, here we are in the Daintree Pavilion. The pavilion, or the ultra-luxe suite for want of a better word, is a feature of all the Bailey Lodges, with the 2-bedroom Dune Pavilion at longitude 131, the Lidgebird Pavilion at Capella Lodge, and plans for a 4-bedroom owner's residence style Ocean Pavilion underway as part of the rebuild of Southern Ocean Lodge. But Sonia, this place is awesome. How on earth do you describe it?
Sometimes we struggle to find the right words, but for me, this particular space it's a haven, it's a hideaway. It's a 2-bedroom, large, extensive space in the bedrooms and your own private bathing space. And both of the 2 suites are joined together with this amazing alfresco area outside. And also they've got, common use of this lounge space here as well. The pool outside, it's got a fabulous plunge spa, and then you've got the cool, refreshing infinity pool. So we've really tried to provide everything that a guest would ever want to be able to just relax in the middle of the rainforest, and they've got every creature comfort they could need, including a fully stocked wine fridge.
And I can see out on the deck there's a massive day bed, there's the fire pit, there's a dining space and a lounging space, as well as this beautiful lounge. The scale of it is just really quite awesome, but it's also enfolding. You feel like you've just walked into one of the most comfortable, nurturing places on earth.
And that's exactly what our guests have said. The first few guests that have had the opportunity to stay in here, they're calling it their new home. They're saying they don't want to leave. And for us, that's just testament to the design that's gone into this by James and Hayley Bailey. It's something on another level for luxury for Bailey Lodges. It's so exciting to be a part of it.
So the luxury lodges of Australia really represent the best of Australia's experiential luxury. To be part of this collection, lodges must be more than just a place to stay. There is always a compelling reason to come here to do something. An easy way to think about the lodges is safari in Australia. These are safaris that reflect Australia's incredible diversity of location and experiences. So this could be a wildlife safari, a food safari, an outback or desert safari, and here, a rainforest safari. So apart from the obvious beauty and appeal of the lodge, why do guests come here? What can they do here? There are a wide range of included activities at Silky Oaks Lodge. Guests can take morning yoga, rainforest walks, river snorkels and billabong swims, driving safaris, Indigenous guided walks, go kayaking or mountain biking. The lodge is centrally located to many of the region's natural attractions, making it a hub for adventures in the Daintree Rainforest and Mossman Gorge, Port Douglas, the Great Barrier Reef, the Atherton Tablelands and the wilderness of Cape Tribulation. The team here has established partnerships with the region's best local operators, like Juan Walker at Walkabout Cultural Tours and James Butcher of FNQ Nature Tours, to offer guests a swag of experiences from Indigenous guided hikes and snorkelling the reef to scenic helicopter flights. A must-do is a walk in the rainforest with an Indigenous guide. In 2021, the Daintree was one of 4 national parks in Queensland formally returned to its traditional custodians. There is an immense privilege in walking on country with a traditional owner, and this is a beautiful way to start to understand a little about these oldest living cultures in the world. Their respect for and approach to living with Mother Earth, true custodians of the land. Their stories often delivered with infectious humour. More than just the new build elements of the lodge, there are some elements of Bailey Lodge's DNA that flow through here, particularly in art and fine attention to design. Co-founder and creative director Hayley Bailey has long forged relationships with artists and artisans to bring truly bespoke design elements to each of their lodges. At Longitude 131, there's a powerful partnership with the Ernabella Arts Community, an Indigenous arts centre located deep in the desert, where sales of their artworks from the lodge enable the community to thrive. Artists in residence are also a regular feature at Longitude 131. Many people will recognise the signature artworks by Janine McIntosh that graced the walls of the Great Room at Southern Ocean Lodge. Here at Silky Oaks Lodge, Hayley invited photographer Catherine Nelson to create a series of digital mandala-shaped artworks and panels depicting Gugulanji children frolicking in the river. Catherine spent 10 days in region photographing the local landscape from all angles and spent time with some local boys from the community, and they laughed and played in their backyard of the Mossman River. There are also some beautiful prints by National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Art Award winner Danny Mellor, and a series of ceramics that grace the wall behind me. Sonia, can you tell us the story of these?
Thanks, Penny. So Bailey Lodge commissioned artists from the local Gugu Yalanji community, and through the Yalanji Arts Centre, we were able to commission some great ceramic discs, and they depict and represent the Daintree flora and fauna. So the representation of these is also representing all of our suite names, and they've been installed here in the entrance to the Central Lodge area for all to enjoy. And their uniqueness creates such a direct link between the lodge, our suites, the Daintree and our First Nations traditional owners.
What a really special link. Sonia, if you had to capture your approach to cultural and environmental sustainability in one line, what would you say?
Well, for us, it's about protecting our backyard and our amazing environment here, and touching the earth as lightly as possible, just like our Gugu Yalanji neighbours do.
So the lodges are all about the soft luxuries, particularly eat well, drink well and sleep well. The food and beverage offering, and especially how it embraces the local region and producers, is another of those key elements of a luxury lodge stay, and the positive impact and halo effect they can have on a community. Here at Silky Oaks Lodge, there's a new and pretty extensive kitchen garden that I'm really excited about. So let's meet Executive Chef Mark Godbeer. Mark, at last, the lodge is open. You can feed guests, and the smells coming from the kitchen are amazing. Tell us a bit about the approach that you're taking to food, this garden, and what's inspiring you.
Well, to be honest with you, the inspiration really comes from the possibility that we have in the garden. I mean, you just look around and you see things sprouting up meters tall, and just a couple of months ago, this was just a work site. So the importance of us using everything local and indigenous and endemic to this area is something that really inspires us and puts the menu ideas on the menus and inspires us to use everything in the garden with zero waste and keeping it sustainable.
So you said something to me earlier about taking from this on the plate rather than off the back of a truck. I loved that. But does that impact on flavour, quality?
Yes, all of the above. If you just take it from the start, having my chefs go out and come into this garden, grab something out of the dirt, wash it themselves, select it amongst a multitude of different options and select the best, pull it into the kitchen, and then just have that sense of attachment and that sense of ownership before even utilizing it in the menu. I mean, that encompasses positivity, passion, ownership of a homegrown ingredient, and doing that with everything, having my chefs walk through every day and just smell, pick, take 5 minutes out of the craziness of the kitchen and just feel the rainforest, but not just for the fact of getting away and having a bit of serenity, but also immersing yourself in what we actually use. This is our laboratory. All the ideas that we do are literally from scratch because a lot of these ingredients we haven't worked before.
So has this garden helped your team kind of lift their game?
Yes, of course. That's another thing. Obviously, being a Bailey Lodges or a Luxury Lodges of Australia, everyone that in my brigade, they push a little bit of extra, just like we always do in Luxury Lodges. And with that, having this garden and having my team being able to come through and teach themselves or walk through with me and let me highlight certain ingredients or what we're using or what's coming up on the menu or what we're thinking about planting in the planters helps them added to their repertoire and their arsenal of tricks up their sleeves, and because we'll be doing it together and learning and progressing through ingredients we've never had before. Together we're all learning, we're all growing, and we're all getting very excited.
And I believe something in development is the idea of a chef's table down in the garden.
Yeah, we've actually had a 2 6-top table commissioned from some refurbished timber from the entire makeover of the lodge. So they're busy being commissioned and should be finished before winter. And then what we're going to be offering is a maximum of 12 guests are going to be able to walk through the garden with me, a little bit of a tour, similar to the Nat Geo talks I used to do at Longitude 131, where I just pull something out of the ground, show them the ingredient, talk them through the properties of the ingredient, the smells, the taste, and then once they sit down, we'll have a nice slow cooked dinner under the stars, preferably no rain, and then I'll be able to highlight all the ingredients I've talked to them about in the walkthrough before.
So, Mark, what you have just described is something that I always talk about with the lodges, which is nobody ever gets back from a trip and talks about the thread count of the sheets. Yeah. They always talk about the people experiences that they've had that have made them feel really deeply connected to the place. One of the other great characteristics of a luxury lodge of Australia is its natural isolation. One of the things many of us have heightened awareness of these days is our sense of wellness and well-being, and how we carry that with us when we travel. For some, the simple connection to nature is the way to reset and a great healer. For many, nothing beats an expertly delivered spa treatment or massage. Together, the rainforest and the Healing Waters Spa at Silky Oaks Lodge delivers on both. So at the end of the day, we find ourselves at the Jungle Perch, once again overlooking the flowing river. This river has incredibly high mineral content and has long been regarded to have healing powers. For me, it's the flowing pulse of the tropics. Every time I visit this place, I reflect on the gentle but pervasive sense of well-being I feel, and that uncanny feeling that within a very short time after my arrival, my pulse has slowed to the rhythm of the river. So clearly, there is an awful lot to keep guests active, exploring the river, the rainforest and beyond, but there is also an almost magnetic pull to simply stay put and let the life at the lodge enfold you. It is so good to be back at Silky Oaks Lodge. Huge hats off to the Bailey Lodges team that have delivered this reincarnation of a very special place. Come and visit soon. They're waiting here to welcome you.
So Penny, thank you so much for joining us and for filming that incredible virtual fam. I mean, you must have had so much fun filming it.
It was pretty amazing, and amazing to be back up there and genuinely, immersed in how the awesome job that they've done up there. It was amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, and so of course, if anyone has any questions for Penny, please pop them in the chat. We are here to answer your questions today. That is the aim of the game. But one thing I was wondering to start us off with, Penny, is does Luxury Lodges of Australia have any resources available to agents to help them sell, any guides, any support? What kind of toolkit do you offer UK agents?
Oh my goodness, where do I start? If you go to the Luxury Lodges of Australia website, there are multiple resources. There are suggested itineraries that aren't priced, but they are there as building blocks for you. There is an accommodation summary that gives you all the very nitty-gritty detail that you need about bedding configurations and child policies and access. There's an image library and a video library. There's concise descriptions of each of the lodges, and not just the lodge, but the 250 odd experiences that the lodges provide. So if you remember nothing else apart from how amazing, beautiful Silky Oaks is, the lodges are more than just a place to stay. They are safari in Australia. Mm-hmm. The other thing that isn't live yet, so we have an availability calendar, which at the moment is a manual calendar, which basically will give you an idea of which lodges have availability at any given time of the next 12 months. We are working over the next month to set that to be live, real-time availability for any lodge that has that capacity.
Okay, great.
So stay tuned for that.
Exciting. So we've had quite a lot of questions come in now. Silky Oaks is obviously getting people very excited. Our first one is from, one second, there we go. Is there a time of year you would recommend visiting Silky Oaks? So both Angela and another person whose name I can't see right now. But yeah, they're asking about best time of year to visit.
Yeah. Okay. So that's another one of the tools on the website, what to do when, and it will give you the seasonality for all of the lodges. There's a map function. You click on the lodge and it will take you to a page that you can click from summer, winter, autumn, spring, and it will give you the temperatures. It will give you the weather, the typical weather. It will also filter the experiences that you are able to do by season. Silky Oaks Lodge is in the wet tropics. So our summer, your winter, it is really tropical. So it is more humid. Our winter is it's still very warm and a stunning time to travel. But it's less humid for people who aren't as much into humidity. But honestly, pretty much any time of year, and you really get that sense of the tropics. It's beautiful.
Okay, great. Emma is asking whether Silky Oaks is child friendly and also wheelchair friendly. So is it accessible for all?
Okay, so all of the Bailey lodges have a child age of 10 years and above. And that's really more because of it needs to be age appropriate experiences. There is a page on the website that gives you the child policies for all 19 of the lodges. Wheelchair accessible, there are a couple of the suites that are wheelchair accessible, and the area around the lodge itself is. I know that some of the excursions off property to Mossman Gorge and Port Douglas are wheelchair accessible, but some of the hiking trails and things into the rainforest are not, unless you're an off-road wheelchair person. So there is definitely accessibility, but you do need to just check in on the limitations as to where you can access.
Okay, great. Thank you. Suzanne is asking how many nights you'd recommend staying at Silky Lodge. Is there what kind of stay would you suggest?
In the Daintree Pavilion, can I just move in forever? Listen, for any of the lodges, I always recommend 3 nights because that gives you 2 full days of experiences. And even after that, people always leave going, I wish I'd had the extra day just to hang out at the lodge and enjoy the surrounds more. So definitely a minimum for any of the lodges is 3 nights, and then you get 2 full days of experience.
Okay, great. Tracy has popped a question in here about the restaurant at Silky Lodge. Is it open to people that aren't staying there? So if you're not staying, can you come and visit the restaurant?
You can at lunchtime. There are a limited number of spaces that are available for people who are not in-house guests. Largely, it's made possible because many of the in-house guests are out exploring. But they manage that. Obviously, in-house guests always get a priority. But yes, it is available for lunches.
Okay. Angela's put in here, she thinks it looks like it's geared towards couples, but would families also have lots to enjoy? So maybe if someone's traveling with teenagers?
Listen, traveling with teenagers or friends traveling together, honestly, I'm just imagining a girls' weekend away at that in the Daintree Pavilion. Yes, many of the suites there can be twin beds, and again, that points to that accommodation summary that you can download from our website that we keep updated on all the bedding configurations. Most of the suites have that extra day bed, which is intended to be usable by a child over the age of 10 traveling with parents. If you have more than one child, you are better off either getting the Daintree Pavilion or 2 suites, just for sheer comfort.
Okay. And what about the activities? Are they child friendly?
Again, absolutely. Anything that doesn't involve gin tastings or wine tastings, of course, or alcohol. The activities, absolutely. The hikes, the Indigenous guided walks, fascinating, fantastic. The kayaking and the river snorkeling, all of those things, absolutely for 10 years and above, highly appropriate and loads of fun.
Lovely, thank you. And we just have 1 minute left, but one thing I was wondering is, what's the best way to get there? Where's the nearest airport? Kind of how would people visit from the UK? How would be the best way to get there?
Yep. And again, on the website, there's a map that shows you every single international and domestic airport that accesses the lodges. For Silky Oaks Lodge, the nearest airport is Cairns. That is an international airport, but from the UK and from Europe, the most likely entry point would be Sydney or Brisbane, and you can fly direct up to Cairns from there. And then it's a 75-minute drive to the lodge. There's a fantastic podcast that you're sent when you make a booking, and you wind your way along the coast listening to the podcast, and you arrive absolutely ready to enjoy and immerse in the Daintree rainforest and the lodge.
Lovely. Thank you very much. We've got lots of love for Silky Oaks, in the comments here. Everyone's saying they need to win the lottery so they can go and visit themselves.
Well, I hope you really can very soon, and it's so good to be talking to you all.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you in London, UK, Europe soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Penny.